First tonight to Gujarat in India. It might be the home state of Mahatma Gandhi, that Indian champion of non-violent resistance, but more recently, Gujarat's gained an altogether more brutal reputation. Although Gandhi devoted his life to keeping India's Hindus and Muslims from each other's throats, back in 2002, hundreds of Muslims were killed by Hindu mobs in Gujarat. 5 years later, practically none of the perpetrators have been convicted. Of late, however, startling new evidence has been unearthed implicating Gujarat's police, its legal system and even its chief minister. Here's Amos Roberts with a nasty tale of death, infiltrators, cover-up, it has to be said, brave journalism.
Before we begin, a stark warning. What we will show you today is simply horrifying. It's a story of savage mass murder, rape and gruesome torture.
A few months ago, this special broadcast broke what should have been one of the biggest stories in the history of Indian journalism. Grainy footage of mass murderers, not just confessing but boasting of their crimes. The story didn't just expose the killers, but also the men who'd organised and covered up the crimes. But several months later, the journalists behind the expose and the victims of the crimes they were investigating are disillusioned.
There was some public outrage, there was some public anger, but I would say yes, nothing has happened.
The killers themselves say the real figure was at least twice that. This is Babu Bajrangi, the man who led the mob. His remarkable confession was secretly recorded by an undercover reporter from Tehelka, a weekly news magazine.
Each and everything he said, each and everything he did while I was with him, it was always targeted against Muslims, against anything which he believed was anti-Hindu. And I mean, his love for Hinduism flowed out of his hatred for Muslims, for Christians. It was unbelievable. This is the recorder, and this is the memory chip on which the recording is saved. And the diary has a minute hole, this one. This is the lens of this diary. I mean, it's very difficult to figure it out with the naked eye.
Ashish Khaitan risked his life to find out who was behind the 2002 riots and doesn't want to blow his cover now.
The other spy cam I was using in Gujarat was a button spy cam.
Armed with 2 hidden cameras, he spent 6 months last year posing as a young Hindu fundamentalist by the name of Piyush Agarwal. He infiltrated a network of fanatical Hindu organisations, winning the confidence of their leaders as well as their foot soldiers.
So there was a sense of pride and a sense of achievement in what they did in 2002, and they wanted to tell about that. This was something which they always talked about in their own inner circles. And once I was part of that circle, they opened up to me as well.